Also, I'll tell you this. Can I tell you something
Yeah,
else?
yeah.
You know, I learned a lot from Russ about what the music meant sociologically. Russell's background was, first of all, Russell was a race man. He is
Yeah.
his father's son, and his father inculcated a lot of racial pride in his children. And Russ carried that with him. And then he studied sociology when he was at CCNY. And so he understood rap music as part of this hip hop culture from, from well before the time that I got with him. And then he made me understand it in those terms. And so then I'm able to turn around and talk to my friends in the media and explain it in those terms. And all of a sudden it's much more interesting than it was before. It's not just a story of one record after another coming out, this novelty thing where, these black kids you never heard of are rapping instead of singing. No, this is a whole cultural movement that's emerging at a certain time in a certain place, and you don't know anything about it. But there are other elements to it. There's a visual element. It's called graffiti. There's a dance element. It's called breakdancing or b-boying. There's this, disc jockeying stuff where, you've got a guy playing turntables and he replaces a whole band, on and on and on also. And there's fashion influence. And so I'm a student of Russell Simmons with regard to my understanding of hip hop. And also, when I needed to, I could unleash Russ himself on the press. And Russell, from very early on, turned out to be a very compelling interview. So, the artists themselves were good or not so good at talking about what they did when it came time for them to do that. Some of them were better than others. But Russell was very, very good from the very beginning.